So, Pap, of course, this week started off with the Iowa Freedom Summit, which is, there's a lot of these, it seems like, but this is like the first assemblage of one section of the ever increasingly, I don't know if the word is large or stuffed, GOP presidential 2016 clown car.
Oh, yeah, it starts, you could go on forever just about what happened there. I mean, you have Huckabee proclaiming that God has told him to run again. You have Trump saying that
you think that God would have given him a little bit more encouragement, right? Maybe had him stay in the race a little bit longer.
Yeah, that would help. But what he does is he collects money. This is how the guy makes money. I mean, he collects money and then drops out of the race, and he lives for another year. Then Trump is out there. He's saying, I would have beat. He really did say this. I would have beat Obama in the last presidential election. That's what. But he says, you know what? I'm going to run possibly this time. So you'll have the benefit of all that, and that is if that. Really, it's like a slow burn stupid. I mean, you're watching, you're going, this is, the only way to describe it is slow burn stupid. But then then Sarah Palin, I don't know if you've followed this story, gets on stage, and you have to, anybody listening to this broadcast, you have to go listen to this. It is, when I saw it, it was almost as if I've seen when people are having a TMI. It is as if they're having this minor stroke and they've lost their way in the middle of the sentence.
We go on offense. We go on offense now, and we expect our GOP leaders in D.C. to get on offense because we, the people, we realize that this is war. As I say, it is war for the solvency, the sovereignty of the United States of America. And we don't sit on our thumbs this next time when one of our own is being crucified and falsely accused of whatever the hip accusation of the day happens to be, right? Racism, sexism, whatever. Really, it's kind of Orwellian observing how that works, that rule of Saul Alinsky's, no doubt, that the left employs. Disgusting charges from the left that reverse them, for it is they who point a finger, not really, they have triple that amount of fingers pointing right back at them, revealing that they are the ones who really discriminate and divide.
Now, we're used to hearing from Sarah Palin. I mean, if you remember, there's so many quotes. The one I love is, Todd's got the gun, Todd, her husband's got the gun, and I've got the rack. You remember that? I mean, what a classy thing for a presidential candidate to say. But now she's saying, I'm going to jump back in because I need to save this union. I need to save it from, from virtually, it goes through the list of how we're all at risk. But as you listen to this, I'm serious when I tell you she was either drunk, she was on drugs, or she was having something that is what you would call a TMI. Because what happened, all I can assume is that the teleprompter must have failed, and she starts rambling to the point to where the crowd is just almost starry-eyed, thinking, "What's happening up here?" And what was your take on it?
Well, I mean, this is what's interesting is that, we've already now had, and we're only, 3.5, almost 4 weeks in, maybe January's over. It's 2015. We already have over a half dozen mostly declared Republican candidates. And right now it's looking, I think, like Good Money says there's going to be at least a double-digit amount of Republican candidates. But what looks like is going to be missing from this mix, although we're starting to hear a little bit from Carly Fiorina about this, is that it's quite possible. And the Republicans this week announced that they're only going to be doing 9, or supposedly only going to be doing 9 debates. There could be a dozen candidates, and all men, Pat. The Republican candidates are all going to be men. And so I think that the Republican Party still has this sort of notion of maybe Sarah Palin will run. Now, of course, she's not going to run. You know, I know, and really any person with like blood reaching their brain knows this is just a scam.
But explain, Sam, the listeners, how they make money doing this. This is what everybody misses. This is a money-making enterprise.
This is the amazing thing. You know, Pap, you and I, we grew up at a time where the conventional wisdom was like, you don't go and run for president unless you're serious, because you don't want to put your family through this. It's a grueling 9 months. You go around the country eating bad food, shaking a lot of hands. That notion of running for president is gone. What the Republicans do now is that running for president is essentially a marketing tour. I mean, you got to think about this as like why a band goes on to, used to go on tour. It was to promote their album. Well, when somebody goes and runs for president, or even teases that they're going to run for president, what that does is that means that they can build an email list, which means that they can either sell that email list to, dried food or emergency food, or gold, or all sorts of male enhancement products, and they send out to these people. I mean, if you look at the audience when Sarah Palin is in front of this audience saying, "Look, it's the Democrats who are really sexist and racist," and they cut to the audience, and it is literally. If you had gone in to a respite home and just take a shot of everybody eating there, that's what you would see. And so Sarah Palin collects these email addresses and these phone numbers, and then begins to flog.
Well, then
these
she comes out with her book,
and she comes out with her book, or she gets her reality TV show.
But it's a money.
I mean, look, we saw Gingrich do this. We're seeing Huckabee do this. We're seeing Ben Carson. We saw the Pizza Man. All of them.
But it's not only that, Sam. They build a war chest. You understand? They can
Of
live
course.
on the war chest. Once they have that money, they can do whatever they want to do with
Oh, look,
it.
the Gingriches, they simply, for them, it was just, Newt Gingrich said, like, this is great. Callista and I fly around the country. It is like a rolling vacation that they simply have to make a public appearance here or there. And it's, you can look at where these people are running, right? Like, how much time do people spend in, like, San Diego? Well, that's not really going to help you as a presidential candidate. I mean, this is
But
really
it's good food, nice hotels.
good food. You can have your campaign pay for it, and you build up an email list and sell your books.
Well, back to Sarah. Sarah's on stage, and I'm not kidding you. You've got to go watch this. If you're
People
listening,
should go to ringofireradio.com.
watch,
We've got it posted up there, and it is. I have to say, Pap. I mean, generally, you and I don't spend a lot of time talking about Sarah Palin because
she's irrelevant.
Seeing
really.
one ridiculous
but
thing,
you see, but Sam,
this
when
is
people
really
criticize you for talking about Palin, well, she's not news. She is news. Not Sarah Palin is the news, but Sarah Palin is indicia of what's happened to the Republican Party. That's the news. And when
frankly,
people write in, they say, "Oh, why are you talking about?" Well, I mean, wake up. Freaking, wake up. Why are we talking about her? Because she is representative about how dysfunctional the Republican Party's become and how dysfunctional our democracy has become. So when these idiots write in on, why are you wasting time talking? It's important that people understand about how everything's crashing in on us.
Let me add
from
one
the standpoint
thing,
of politics.
It is important, if only to remind people that John McCain, the supposed moderate of the Republican Party, put her in a position where she would be a heartbeat away from the presidency. And if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about the so-called moderates in the Republican Party and the dynamic of people say, like, well, I'm more of this part of the wing of the Republican. No, there's one wing of the Republican Party.
Yeah, there's no wing.
And that is Sarah Palin's wing, because her wing forced John McCain to put her on the ticket. It just goes to show you how they govern and who pays to whom that the piper that they're following, I guess.
All about money.